Now we want to talk regarding the pathogenesis of a cyst. In general, there are two phases in cyst pathogenesis: initiation or cyst formation, and enlargement or expansion of the cystic cavity. When we talk of the cyst initiation, the stimulus, the inflammatory cyst, it is the infection and others predisposition to form cysts. Cyst formation of cavity lined by stratified squamous epithelium could occur by a number of mechanisms. Cleft produced by accumulation of purulent exudate in the form of a microabscess involved one of the proliferating strands of the epithelium, then the epithelial cells would be expected to line the cleft. Cyst formation continued. Stimulated epithelium proliferated to form a sphere of the cells. The epithelial cells become oriented in relation to their source of nutrition and the adjacent connective tissue. Thus, in the normal situation, they cover surface and are finally desquamated. Harris suggested that the sponge work of epithelial cells at the periphery of a granuloma plays a protective role, isolating the irritating and infected material in the center. Wilderhawk and Harris also contend that the entire center of the granuloma becomes necrotic, and after this the cell meshwork becomes consolidated into the epithelium-lined cyst. Scheer observes that the early developing periodontal cyst is surrounded by proliferating arcades and rings of epithelium, each with a vascular connective tissue core, and later this arcade pattern disappears. Cyst enlargement, the attraction of fluid into the cystic cavity, the retention of the fluid within the cavity, the production of raised internal hydrostatic pressure, the resorption of surrounding bone with an increase in the size of the increase in the size of the bony cavity. Harris described the theories of cyst enlargement as mural growth, that is peripheral cell division and accumulation of cellular contents, hydrostatic enlargement, secretion as well as translation and exudation, and bone resorbing factors. When we talk of the pathogenesis of the cyst, we need to understand again, yes, this is the tooth which is infected, the involvement of pulp is there. From the pulp, the infection has gone into the periapical region, and there is proliferation of the cells resulting in epithelial proliferation. Cytokinins act upon these cells and causes central cell breakdown. Early lumen is formed. Further, the process continues and there is the expansion of the cyst becomes because of the osmotic gradients. That means the cellular components are getting destroyed in the center, which causes hypertonicity, and this causes drawing of the water inside the cystic lumen, and this cystic lumen causes an increase in the hydrostatic pressure, and this results in further expansion of the cyst. The cyst matures with the flattened surface cells, basement membrane, and a connective tissue wall. Expansion of the cavity with the resorption of the bone. This is the mechanism of cyst development. Livingstone estimated the annual increase in size of the periodontal cyst to be approximately 5 mm diameter per year. Kelly K. and Seward estimated that in teenage and adults, approximately 10 years is required for the development of a cyst of a 2 cm in diameter. Scheer suggested that larger the cyst, the slower the yearly increase in diameter. The diameter of 2 cm is a crucial size beyond which it is likely that expansion of jaw will be detected clinically. Cyst regression, any process that leads to the involution of cyst epithelium, such as extraction of tooth or reduction of intracystic pressure, as with marsupialization, may cause connective tissue capsule to regress and the cavity to be filled by the bone or the scar tissue. This is all about the pathogenesis of the cyst.